is coming. Yeah. Start sending your letters off to Santa. Christmas is coming. Yeah. Better be nice if you want your present. Tell all your brothers, sisters, mama and papa too. Christmas is coming, yeah. Staying up late looking out the window. Yeah. Christmas is coming, yeah. Spotting some sleigh rides and some jingle bells. Tell all your brothers, sisters, mama and papa too.
You know, I think one thing that gets kind of lost in the wind is the advising game is a single game. We look at college advising a lot of times through the analytical scope, 90% this, 85% this, but really the major impact for you, I would imagine, is the individual moments that you have with students to be able to give them that little bridge that they need, that little encouragement that they need, or even if it's just lending them that one little advice that gets them on the way to where they wanted to go or understanding better where they wanted to go.
Absolutely. Like you said earlier, the College Advising Corps operates on this near-peer model. So I just graduated college this past May, and being so close in age with them really helps me empathize and have some of those kind of uncomfortable conversations about the future from a place of no judgment and a place of empathy, really. So I was a first-generation college student and actually the first woman in my family to graduate high school. So being able to talk to them about some of the more personal challenges or the doubt that they face within themselves is really special. And I think a lot of the older staff members don't get to have those types of candid conversations that we do.
Hello and welcome to the 12 Days of Education, Day 3. And boy, do we have a great show for you. We'll be giving away a great giveaway. Of course, you can enter our giveaways. 12 giveaways during the 12 Days of Education. Thanks to your support. You can do so by texting EDUCATE to 24365 to support the initiatives of the Rockingham County Education Foundation. We'll have Bishop William Gregg of St. Thomas Episcopal joining us here in just a bit, also a board member of the Education Foundation, to talk about the wonderful initiatives going on with the Education Foundation, directly impacting our students and our teachers and benefiting them, because like a family, education is a continuous thing that we need to support. I was talking with my wife about this today, about education and the fact of how it parallels with family. You're always there and it's always part of your life. It's something that will always continue to grow, as your family will, as those that you look forward to at some point will move on. They won't be in the same house that you are, but you'll still support them from afar. Just like with education, at some point we'll think that we've grown out of it, but there will be a point where we need it. It's always part of our life, as learning is, and there's always things in our education that impact us, affect us, whether that's positive or negative, and it's always going to be something that we need to cherish as a community, just like family in the family community. I'm Joe Dexter, glad to have you here for the 12 Days of Education, Day 3. Before Bishop William Gregg joins us, let's take a little bit of a reminder of what we're here for. The Carolina College Advising Corps aims to help low-income first-generation and underrepresented NC high school students attend a college that will serve them well by placing a recent UNC graduate as college advisors in public schools throughout the state. One of the many initiatives that the Education Foundation has focused on throughout the years, and it's shown in the local impact that we've seen as college advisors provide that wonderful one-on-one assistance to high school seniors in navigating the complex process of preparing preparing for the SAT and making applications to 2-year and 4-year programs, because it's not just as easy as 1, 2, 3 snap of a finger. Since 2014, more than 2,000 Rockingham County students report submitting at least one college application, and more than $30 million in scholarships have been offered to seniors since 2013. That's a $450 return for every $1 invested in the program. And you can help us by texting EDUCATE to 24365. That's EDUCATE to 24365 to be part of our donor group this year, as we look forward to continuing the great impact that the peer-to-peer advisor program has had, because those advisors have walked through the path of students just recently. They know the obstacles to getting into college, and it helps students find their way. Last academic year, 90% of students, seniors, were reached with $8 million in offered scholarships. Also today, it is a great giveaway. The Gildan Activewear basket will be giving that away, as well as some other news on some giveaways coming up. Of course, we've got the grand prize beach trip coming up, a weekend stay in the lovely oceanfront Holt Condo on Caswell Beach. You can enter that by texting EDUCATE to 24365. Again, as you enter giveaways, when you do it, I suggest you do it today on day 3, because you are entered into every single giveaway until we're done with this thing. So make sure that you head on into text EDUCATE 24365. That's EDUCATE to 24365. Not only are you supporting local great initiatives for students and teachers and schools right here in our community, but you also have a chance to win this holiday season. Speaking of winning, thank you, Arthur's Jewelry, who has joined the group of giving great giveaways. Man, a 14-karat bracelet will be giving away, diamond and gold, valued at $1,200. Thank you to Archer's Jewelry in Reedsville for this wonderful donation and for their continued support and all the support of those that have helped us with these giveaways during the Rockingham County Education Foundation 12 Days of Education. To enter, again, text EDUCATE 24365. Look at that beauty, the gold and the diamonds. You know you want to enter. Text EDUCATE to 24365. Well, now let's welcome in our guest. It's Bishop William Gregg of St. Thomas Episcopal. How you doing?
Doing well, Joe. Thank you. How are you?
Good. Glad to have you on and discuss education and students and impact in community. I know it's something that's very important to you. As a board member of the Education Foundation and a community leader, how important is education? I know that's an open-ended question, but how important is education and continuous learning?
Well, I think it's absolutely important. It's one of the marks of real vitality in one's life. And education is not simply about books. I'm reminded of the practice of the poet Robert Frost with his children. When they went outside on their farm with him, Frost always was saying, "What are you seeing? What are you seeing? Tell me what you see." And what he taught them was to pay attention to the world around them, to see what was there. And really that's at the heart of education. It's about paying attention in life. It's about learning about the things around you. Sometimes that's book learning. Sometimes it's hands-on learning. Sometimes it's done singly, and sometimes it's done in a group. Sometimes it's done professionally, and sometimes it's done because you're curious about something. You know, and another way of looking at it is, how do we satisfy our curiosity as we go through the day, as we go through our life? And education is critically important at that level, as a kind of cultural reality. I think education is also practically really important. We all know that professions require continuing education because you have to keep up in your professional life. Doctors have to know about new medications and new procedures, lawyers about new laws, CPAs about new regulations and accounting, theologians like myself about the new thinking about how we understand ourselves in the religious world. So continuing education is also an extremely practical thing professionally. Education is important because it's also practical in terms of equipping our students and adults with job skills. To sustain a healthy economy, we have to have an educated population in a broad kind of way. And that's everything from plumbers, electricians, and HVAC folks who do all kinds of things I can't do and have no clue about,
Me neither.
to, folks like me that are a bit more abstract and yet take care of the hearts and souls of God's people from our perspective. So it's a hugely broad reality within our lives. And one of the great things that the Rockingham County Education Foundation does is plug in early on in that process, whether it's with the College Advisory Corps, which helps students navigate the rocky and turbulent and difficult waters sometimes of finding a college or university, making an application, finding financial resources, or as we have done at a number of schools now, the trails for outdoor education, more in the Robert Frost model of going out into the forest and learning how to see what we're looking at and why it's important. So Trails K2 is another way of embodying education that is fun. It teaches. It's available to a broad range of students, and as you said earlier, it touches every part of our life every day. And you've got a 1 month old, and it may not look like he's learning a whole lot. But every day, I mean, just try to imagine what his education is like. And that becomes more formal and more focused as we grow older. So education is part and parcel of daily living.
It sure is. And, when we think of learning and development, I think sometimes I'm guilty of this at least. We think of digging into the books, the terms up, it's time to take that test. But cognitive development can be going on a trail, getting some fresh air to open your mind to be able to go to those moments that you need to be focused on studying, or to go to the place to find the answer for your business, or to go to the place to just develop as a human being and learn in that aspect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's one of the exciting things about education is that it's got so many forms and there's so many ways to learn and to become an educated person. And it doesn't have to be formal. It can be informal. It can be your book study group, for example. It can be a conversation at Rotary or Kiwanis, or a conversation at church, or a conversation at the senior center, or a program at the senior center. The foundation is focused on elementary and high school education as prelude to college and university education primarily. But that's not the only thing that's true about education. We want to help those students who have the academic capacity and desire to go to college to have that opportunity at least to try. And that little bit of encouragement sometimes makes all the difference for a student who might be the first in their family. Or the family would love for them to go to college, but doesn't know how they're going to pull that off. The Foundation's program of College Advisory Corps is designed to facilitate that possibility becoming a reality. And that's a huge contribution to the life of Rockingham County, because it opens possibilities that raises not just the educational level in a technical sense, but it raises the capacity of Rockingham County to be a rich and good place to live, where there are people who are thoughtful, there are people who are skilled, there are jobs to be had here. so that people who want to stay here can stay here. All of those are fruits of education.
He's William Gregg, Bishop William Gregg, joining us of St. Thomas Episcopal and on the board of the Education Foundation on the 12 Days of Education, Day 3. We've got a great giveaway coming up in just a bit. We'll give a Gildan activewear box or make that a basket away. You can join by texting EDUCATE to 24365. Our giveaways throughout the week. We have some great ones coming up. A condo stay for a weekend at Caswell Beach, a 14K diamond bracelet from Arthur's Jewelry in Reedsville as well. You can join the giveaways and support our initiatives by texting EDUCATE to 24365. That's EDUCATE to 24365. I want to kind of break this down as a whole education-wise. You kind of touched on it a little bit, Bishop, but education as a whole, why is it so important to offer these initiatives, whether it's the PIC program that provides music for students in lessons for free, or whether it's at the higher level, the college advising? Why is it as a whole, as a community ecosystem, to embrace these education initiatives and have them grow and continue to develop?
That's a really good question, Joe, and I think it's an important one. It's important for the whole community. I mean, some of us are my age, and we don't have children in school anymore. Our children may have moved away, and our grandchildren aren't here in Rockingham County. But education here in Rockingham County is important for the whole community, because it is through the equipping of our young people and sustaining our capacity of adults that we maintain the level of living, the standard of living, the development economically, and the creation of jobs. And the people who are my age, I'll be 71 in 2 weeks. My grandchildren live in Utah. But those of us who are my age, we have to depend on those who are in their 20s and 30s more and more as we age. They are the people of the age group, the nurses, the doctors, the pharmacists, the people who come and fix things in our homes as we are less able to climb ladders and do that kind of thing. So education in a broad way is what helps us sustain our life. We really do have something at stake at that 6-year-old who started first grade this year.
Yes.
We really do have something at stake in that 13-year-old who's struggling in middle school. We really do have something at stake with that senior in high school this year who's wondering what in the world are they going to do and how are they going to do it in 9 months. That the stability and the quality of our life now is sustained by those people 18 years ago that we invested in them when they became first graders. And they're now seniors, and they're getting ready to join the adult world in some way. And that matters to us because they're going to be the resources that sustain the life of those of us who are older, even in, and especially when we no longer have children in school or grandchildren in school. So that's really critically important, just as a practical matter.
Even from my perspective as a 35-year-old dad, the ecosystem is what I like to call it of education. I even have to realize at 35, this upcoming generation, I think I can do everything. Well, if we don't let that ecosystem live to expand and do what they can do and let them breathe, we never grow forward. I mean, so as a 35-year-old, even as a father, I want to make sure that my daughters and my son have a place where they can grow. And if I don't allow them to grow, if I just snuff that out, it's just not going to happen. That's why it's important from a parental perspective. But even as somebody that doesn't have parent or kids my age, it's a community ecosystem that has to grow. There's a parenting there that I respect from my generation, at least, because I know that it wasn't just my mom and dad that helped raise me. It was the community neighborhood that supported the wrestling team that I was on, that supported the further education that I was able to attend. So it is an ecosystem that if we don't continue to let it breathe, it's just not going to continue. So that's why it's important to me.
Yeah, and the other thing that's true too is that the elders of the community are also an educational resource. And one of the things that we have to remember that's important is we haven't been around this long for nothing. And we have some wisdom, and we carry the history, and we tell the stories. And as every parent knows, it's always easier for the kids to talk to the grandparents than it is to the parents sometime. And so we have more than just a sort of formal connection, a practical connection. We have a personal, emotional tie to our kids. And you're exactly right. It is it's a whole system. It's an environment. It's an ecological reality that is all connected. And the truth is that it takes a village to make a village live. And pulling on that connection and developing it and sustaining it is one way of making the dividends and fruits of education come alive and become real here in Rockingham County.
And so many are helping us do that through our initiatives and donating by texting EDUCATE to 24365. That's EDUCATE to 24365. So far, day 3, we're 28 donations in, $5,194 raised towards our $10,000 goal. If we can get there, Bishop, that's a huge jump. I want to ask you before we head out of here, what are some of the things that we can do as a community to continue to build on what we have already and to continue to grow together to build education blocks that are important?
Well, there are a number of things. I think that one thing that's vitally important for parents is to be very supportive at home of the teachers in the classroom and of their children as they're working through each year. I think the other thing that's vitally important in terms of support is for parents to be informed about services that are available through the school for the support of their child, and how the parents can become a partner with the school, particularly with the teachers, in active participation and encouragement of student learning. Teaching is hard. The first year I taught, literally I came home at night at the end of the day, and I would fall asleep in my chair watching the 6 o'clock news. I was exhausted. The next year I couldn't believe it was quite so easy, but that's, it gets easier as you learn how to do it. But it's hard work, and it means a huge amount to our faculty and their capacity to be effective faculty, to know that they have the parental support from their students' moms and dads. Hugely important. Read to your kids at night. It may be the 5,673rd time you've read that story, and you can't skip pages, but do it.
And have fun doing it too.
Yeah, and make a game out of, fourth graders and third graders are learning their facts, adding and subtracting and multiplying. Make a game out of it. Do the 100 facts in 3 minutes and see if mom and dad can get it done in 3 minutes as well as the kid. Enjoy learning. Go on the trails. When you go out camping, help your child learn about the woods and the system, the ecosystem in the woods, and how it supports life and how we support each other in our life. Read fairy tales. Kids don't know fairy tales anymore much. Read fairy tales to them. Read the Greek and and Roman myths. Tell stories about family. Tell stories on each other. You wouldn't believe what your mom did when she was in high school, or what your dad did when he was your age. That is effective communication, and also a kind of learning and stimulation that makes curiosity grow. Oh, what about? What was life like? What is life like? What's this? What's that? How do I use that?
It's funny you say that too, because, you know, if your kids aren't embracing education or learning, it might be because you're not, as a parent, embracing it either. One thing that I really enjoy every single day is the 15 minutes that I get with my daughter before she heads to school in the wait line. I could be on my phone. I could be talking to somebody about business, but you know what we did today? Dad's Math Challenge, just like you were talking about. You get the 3 questions right and you get the $1 to get ice cream at lunch. So it's definitely key in being embraceful of all the learning that's around us, whether it's the school work or supporting what the teacher is bringing home and being there for your kid while they do their homework. It's every opportunity that we walk this beautiful earth is an opportunity to teach our kids or to help them learn something or just be a resource for them as they continue to develop.
Yeah. And even a lot of parents find it scary that their child might ask them a question they don't know the answer to. Don't ever worry about that. There's lots of stuff that they'll ask that you don't know the answer to. There are 2 things you can do. First of all, say, I don't know. It's okay to say, I don't know. Your child will not think that you're stupid. And you can say, let's see how we can find out what the answer to that question is. And then you become like them and model the behavior of hunting down answers to questions you have. And that's an important skill. Where do I go to find out about things I don't know? And it becomes a game. Let's see who can find the best resource first, or a trip to the library, or how to use Google effectively and appropriately. You know, never be afraid of your child's questions, but respect them and engage them.
We just don't have all the answers. And that's a reality opportunity to teach too, is we're never all going to have the answers at the right time and the impromptu time either. So yeah, right. Definitely. That's a learned skill, and it can become a challenge and fun if you accept it for what it is. Because guess what? There's been some math problems already, and my daughter's only in 1st grade where I'm going, let me take a second.
I know I used to know this.
He's Bishop William Gregg, a member of the Rockingham County Education Foundation Board and Bishop of St. Thomas Episcopal in Reedsville. I want to thank you for your time today on the 12 Days of Education, and thanks for your insight as we continue to raise funds for the initiatives of the Education Foundation.
You're most welcome, Joe. Glad to be here. Enjoyed talking with you.
He's Bishop William Gregg. Glad to have him on the 12 Days of Education. 12 giveaways for great initiatives, raising funds to support the Education Foundation's doings in our community. And boy, there are so many great things happening, whether it's the College Advising Corps that helps all of our high schools and the public schools, helps our students move to the next step, helps figure out the next step. I mean, literally, think about it. When you were a high school senior, I mean, I happened to make the right decision. Could I have made the wrong decision because I had no idea what I was doing and I didn't have a counselor to guide me? Absolutely. But still, these counselors are there for our students. And so that's one of the great initiatives. Music lessons through the Piedmont Instrument Classes for Kids program that the Education Foundation supports and helps with. Those kids get an experience in cognitive learning through music that they wouldn't get anywhere else. Your help, your support is what makes those things possible. So you can text EDUCATE to 24365. That's EDUCATE to 24365 as we welcome in Executive Director Jenny Edwards. The gold pot might be ringing today. Tell us a little bit about what we're giving away today. It's a Gildan Activewear basket.
I have it right here. You want to see it?
Yeah, let me see that.
It's heavy. Ah! Okay, so this is a Gildan activewear basket, Joe. It has all kinds of stuff in here. There's socks, and we've got a hoodie. There's a hoodie. Oh, there's two hoodies. Two hoodies in here. There's more. Oh my goodness, look at all these socks, Joe. Look, there's a bunch of socks. I mean, it is packed. Like I don't even know if I can get these socks back in here. And it's all this fine Gildan activewear, t-shirts, look, masks, all kinds of great stuff. We thank Gildan so much for this. They also are a major financial contributor to the Rockingham County Education Foundation. So we thank them for that and the basket. We're giving this away today.
Awesome. So let's go to that golden pot. And first of all, let's update and see these donations that we might have missed. But I wanted to let you know, though, real quick while you're checking.
Yes.
We passed that 50% mark.
We did, didn't we?
We're at $5,194.03.
We did. We are 3 days in and more than halfway to our goal. This is very, very good news.
Very good.
Joe, for the first time this year, in addition to these terrific prizes that we are giving away, we have started adding on field trips to the Teacher of the Winner's Choice. We are now up to 3 field trips that we will be giving away. One is sponsored by Chris Bass Engineering, taking a class to the Madison River Park. Joe Berry, who is a member of the Carolina Canoe Club, and he's an avid paddler. He'll be down there to talk with kids about kayaking.
Cool.
He's going to do a demonstration of kayaking. They'll get to see what it looks like to take a kayak out there in a little bit of white water. Let's see. Tri-State Steel is sponsoring a field trip to Matrimony Creek Trail in Eden with the Dan Riverkeeper. He's going to do a sing-along and take the kids along the trail, and we've got some surprises for them out there. And then the Rockingham County Education Foundation is sponsoring a field trip to the outdoor classroom on Big Beaver Island Creek. So we're up to 3 field trips. Yes, and we'll give those away the last 3 days of the 12 days.
So stay tuned on the 12 days of education and text EDUCATE to 24365. Debbie, who was our winner yesterday, she says, that's awesome. Yeah, it's great to get the kids out there in these environments that have been built and created in we talked about ecosystems in education. How about the ecosystems in the environment that are being built around our community to help education?
You bet. And getting kids outside in fresh air, letting them run along a trail. They're going to learn some stuff while they're out there. They're going to get to sing along to guitar. We're going to provide lunch for them. They might even get to get their toes in the creek. I mean, it's so great how the community has embraced these field trips, and they could all happen locally. We have so many terrific resources right here in Rockingham County to get students outside, nature-based learning, that we don't even have to go very far to get our kids access to those things.
All right, well, let's go to the Golden Teapot. Let's see who's going to win today.
We got it. Okay.
If you want to pull Joe Dexter, I can use some shirts. So
you're not in here.
Ah, man.
Your wife is, though. Okay, so I'm going to pull it out right. Here we go. Oh, it's Rhonda Stevens.
Congratulations, Rhonda.
Yep, and Rhonda Stevens donated to the area of the greatest need. So we thank her for that. And she goes back into the pot just like everyone else for all of the drawings all the way through the 12 days of education. So there's lots of chances to win.
We want to thank you all for watching Day 3. We want to thank Bishop William Gregg for joining us as well and talking about the importance of education in our community. And thank you for your generous support thus far with over $5,000 raised towards our $10,000 goal. You can text EDUCATE to 24365. It'll bring up a nice prompt which will bring you to the site to donate, but it will also show you the areas which you can donate and all the great initiatives that we are looking to raise funds for throughout this beautiful 12 days of education. So text EDUCATE to 24365 to learn more. For Jenny Edwards, I'm Joe Dexter. It is the 12 days of education. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.